I'm in Spanish class. So I've been to Mexico a few times and other parts of Latin America, and they speak Spanish, and I want to learn Spanish. There's a lot of reasons why I want my podcast agency to help Spanish speakers. I think Latin women are beautiful. And of course, I've been visiting a lot of as many countries as many times as I can. And so it's like, hey, I may as well speak a little bit of Spanish. That way I can communicate when I'm down there. That way I can bring in Spanish speaking podcasts and we can serve them. And so I have been doing an app on my phone that I paid for every single day. And I also hired a Spanish speaker from another country, Dominican Republic, to support me twice a week. And I might move that to 3, but the point is I'm learning Spanish. And then there's these questions that my Spanish teacher wanted me to know. And one of them is ¿qué significa? ¿Qué significa? And it means, what does that mean? You know, what's the significance? What's the point? What is the effing point to you rambling about this thing? And so I'm going to challenge myself to do better. Like when I'm rambling, I'm going to challenge myself to do better, to hone in and let you know exactly what we're talking about today. When I talk about learning Spanish, when I talk about my clients' podcasts that I listen to, I need to spend the time to go back and to basically get to the place where you might be, where you're listening right now. And you're saying to me, ¿qué significa? Like, why are you telling me this? What's in it for me? Why is this significant? Why does this matter? What does that even mean? And the client had that happening all the time. They got into the deep details of things, but neglected to take a moment every now and again to remember and recognize that he actually has another person on the other end. If he could have seen my face, which he can't, if my client would have been able to see my face, he would have seen me being completely confused, not sure what he's talking about, being like, why am I here? Why is he bringing all this stuff up again? What are we talking about? And he would have seen that on my face. And then he would have been able to easily go backwards and say, the reason I'm telling you this is because blah, 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 blah. Or the reason I'm about to share a story and what I want you to get out of it is blah, 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 blah. Or in the middle of all the details, he could say something like, and what that means to you as the listener is you've got to start doing X, Y, Z. So basically breaking it down as if your listener was saying, ¿qué significa? In your face every few minutes as you're sharing this podcast episode, as you're sharing this content for your podcast. Imagine that your listener keeps saying, what's in it for me? Why is this significant? Why does this matter? Why is he telling me this? Why is she telling me this? And then you spend a little bit of time to let your listener know exactly what it is that you are bringing them along this ride for. What's the purpose of this episode? And you might want to just pause and stop and share those takeaways every now and again. You might say, and why that matters is because, or another thing to write down, what that means to me is you need to do this. What that means to me is we have to do this. What that means to me is you should do this. The reason I'm telling you that is because blah, 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 blah.